Good morning, everyone. It's 6 minutes after the hour. It's Tuesday, October 29th, 2019. The temperature is 4 degrees outside. It's cold, baby.
It's very cold.
It's really
very
cold.
very cold.
It's nice and cold, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're
yeah.
52 degrees here, so.
All right. Well, for people coming in on Huffine, it's a skating rink, folks. It may look dry. It may look like there's no snow or no ice, but it is solid ice all the way to Bozeman. In fact, I slid through the red light at McDonald's on Main Street, so please slow down. I was only going 25. So it's pretty nasty out there. So if you're coming up Huffine, don't overestimate your vehicle. It is slippery out there. It's very slippery, so be careful. And it's dark, so it looks clean and nice and pristine and dry, but it ain't. So,
That's good. I like, but it ain't.
It ain't. It ain't. It's slick. It's ice. It's black ice. So
That's right.
be very careful out there. If there's any accidents out there that you witness, let us know so we can let people know if they have to divert around or make alternate routes to work. So that's one reason why we're here, to keep you apprised of conditions out there and accidents or anything that's going to slow you down. So 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255, or you can text us at 478-8298. And we'll be happy to get your info on the air so that we can help as many people get to work safely as possible.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, we got snow yesterday, quite a bit of it, and that's why we have the icy conditions we do today, of course. But today it's just going to be wonderful. Today is really great because it's going to be mostly sunny. We're going to have a high near 12 today.
My favorite picture on Facebook yesterday was a guy with 8 feet of snow up to his snow to his shoulders digging.
Yeah.
And it's a picture from behind, and he's got the shovel over his head.
Yeah.
And the quote on the left side: "We have no hurricanes. We have no hurricanes.
Yeah.
We have no hurricanes."
Yeah, we don't have hurricanes here, but okay. But
6 feet of snow.
But we're looking for a high of 12 degrees today. Wind chills as low as 12 below.
That's good.
So take it easy out there. We're not going to have a lot of wind, but we are going to have some. Tonight, mostly clear with a low around 1 below tonight. Wind values will be wind chills will be as low as 9 below. And then on Wednesday, it's sunny and going to warm up, clear up to freezing. 32 degrees expected high on Wednesday. Wind chills 1 below again. Wednesday night, mostly clear with a high or low around 14 on Wednesday night. And then Thursday, it's going to be partly sunny with a high near 40. So that'll be tropical compared to 12. So Thursday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 15. And then on Friday, sunny with a high near 41. And Friday night, mostly clear with a low around 20, a little more seasonal. And then for the game on Saturday, sunny with a high near 48, and Saturday night, partly cloudy with a low around 28, and then on Sunday, mostly sunny with a high near 50. So we're getting a little more back into normal temperatures this time of year, but we're going to have a couple of rough days with some pretty low temperatures around.
Yeah, well, remember to bring a really woolly blanket, because those are metal seats. And you'll freeze your toughest off without a metal or wool.
Yeah,
wool. Be wool or a pad, to sit on.
Yeah, and any poles around there, feel free to stick your tongue on them because.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah,
or tell kids. You got to tell them.
Tell the kids to do it. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Do you know how they stuck the kid's tongue to the pole in the Christmas story?
No, how?
They had a small hole, and they used air suction to hold his tongue to the pole.
They didn't actually stick it?
No, it didn't stick.
Why? That's the whole point. You got to come out with warm water to get it off, or you tear the top of your tongue off.
Well, it's that, it's Hollywood magic. That's how they do things, so. I don't know, but anyway.
Well, we had a gas lamppost in our front yard.
Yeah.
And so kids were stuck to it all the time. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We didn't have anything like that, but we did have livestock, and we had electric fences, and my brother used to grab me, and then he'd grab the electric fence. It would go through him, and I would get the brunt of it.
That's great. What a sweetheart.
Yeah, he was a doll. He was great.
Yeah, he was really a good guy.
Yeah, your older brother is always looking out for you. give you these experiences that you remember till your grave.
Well, this family from Missouri at Tammy's party, and they were playing volleyball in the front yard, and there's an electric fence for the cattle.
Yeah.
The ball went in the field, and one of these guys, he's like a giant human being, like you, over 6'6", right? And so he runs to the fence and goes to jump over the fence, and caught himself, and didn't know it was an electric fence.
Yeah.
Now that funny. No, seriously, that was funny.
I'll bet. Temperatures around the area right now: Livingston is 4 degrees, Manhattan is 3 degrees, Three Forks is 8 degrees, and let's see, Gallatin Gateway is 1 below, Belgrade's Ennis is 4 degrees, Big Sky is 6 below, and over at the airport it's 2 below. We're right at 3 degrees right here, right now at 12 minutes after the hour, and whoo, man, that's cold.
It is cold.
That is cold.
It's colder than cold.
Yeah. Our poll question from yesterday: do you still wear a Halloween costume? Do you still wear a Halloween costume? And 27% of you said yes, dress up is the whole point. 27% said most years I don't. And 22% said no, I feel dumb after a few minutes. And 11% said, what's Halloween?
That's very good.
And a couple of others said no, and neither do my dogs, and I wear my mask daily. I even scare myself. So our poll question today: how much time do you spend listening to KMMS? How much time each day do you spend listening to KMMS?
Well, I spend 3 hours a day.
At least. At least that much.
Unless I'm checking downloads for a quote.
Or something like that, yeah. So get over to KMMSAM.com on your smartphone at AM 1450 KMMS and get our app and answer our poll question. How many hours a day do you listen to KMMS? And also, we need to let you know we got tickets for the game coming up on Saturday against Southern Utah, and we are going to give those away on Thursday. We're going to give away 2 by phone, and we're going to give away 2 on our app chat. So AM 1450 KMMS, get the app on your smartphone and text the word football to us on the app chat, which is right next to the listen button. And you will be entered to win 2 tickets to the Bobcat game, and it's going to be warm there, semi-warm. So it's above freezing. 48, I think, is a predicted temperature. It'll probably be warmer than that, so you'll want to get into that. We'll give away 2 tickets on by phone on Thursday morning, and then you have till 9 a.m. to get your football text in by 9 a.m. on Thursday morning, and we'll give those tickets away. So. And don't forget, Bozeman Magazine. We are in Bozeman Magazine for a bunch of awards. So this is a vote for all of us, not just Shane and myself. It's a vote for the station. It's a vote for these music stations that have just been dominating this poll for way too long. It's time to for the chickens to come home, and let's make sure that they know the power of talk radio in Bozeman, Montana. So, and even if you're out of the area, you can still vote. BozemanMagazine.com. Don't care where you are. Vote if you're in Poland. We have a dedicated listener in Poland, so by all means, vote in Poland. All right. Let's see. Let's take a quick break. Take care of our ranchers, farmers, truck drivers, all those folks. And we'll come back with this day in history and local news right after this. 21 minutes after the hour. It's Tuesday, October 29, 2019. 3 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of 12. Thank you very much. Hey, welcome to Montana in October. All right. Let's see. You don't have to miss any of the morning Soapbox shows. You know that, right? You can download them.
That's right.
Download. And go to KMMSAM.com on either your computer or your smartphone and click on Tom and Shane's podcasts. And 2,073 downloads of our show so far, 2,073. And we're very excited about that, 258 episodes. And so.
Yeah, we want 2,120 by January 1st.
At least, yeah. If we're still here.
Such a positive outlook on a Tuesday. A terrible Tuesday.
Tuesday, yeah. Tuesday's not my day. Well, let's see. On this day in history, 1901, President William McKinley's assassin, Leon Zalzgaz, was electrocuted.
So, yeah, an important president. Aside from the fact that he was assassinated, he's the president led the nation to victory against the Spanish-American War. Yep. And as we keep telling everyone, where you acquired 55% of Mexico and raised protective tariffs to promote American industry. So he was big on protective tariffs and kept the nation on the gold standard. So he rejected the free silver monetary policy. Next.
On this date, very well-known date, October 29th, 1929, the stock market crashed and the Depression began.
Right, and this was an over-exuberance of the Roaring '20s, but more importantly, this is one of those exceptions. There was no regulation of the market, and so many people were invested in it since after your depression in 1905, they had off-street betting parlors, actually, that were betting on stocks as well as people in the market, and changed Americans' opinions. They didn't start reinvesting for another 50 years.
Yeah, it took a while for them to get the confidence back. We had to get Mom and Dad lost everything back. Well, Grandpa and Grandpa, I guess, lost everything back in those days. So it was
great Grandpa. And
yeah,
Mama.
Well, I guess it would be. Let's see. In 1940, the United States of America, I should say, began its first peacetime military draft, and it wasn't peacetime very long, was it?
Nope. And, there were only 4 drafts initiated in the U.S., the American Revolution, of course, your Civil War by Lincoln, World War I, and World War II. Yeah. So Selective Service, the 5th time, became the Vietnam War, which you participated in. What number were you?
They didn't go to the lottery system till well after I was back. That was in the 70s or sometime.
You volunteered?
No. They took me kicking and screaming. Of course, I didn't volunteer.
Next.
If you volunteered, this is how stupid people were back then. I guess I don't know. Well, when I went in, they give you all these tests, right? So they pulled a bunch of us out that had the best test scores, of which I was one of them, of course. And they gave you sergeant authority to be leaders of your group that went through basic training. So, but if you enlisted, you enlisted for 3 years. If you were drafted, you served 2 years.
Wow.
So I didn't particularly want to spend 3 years in a war zone. So I let them take me kicking and screaming, but you have to understand that I was a totally different person at that time.
That's right.
I was a spoiled brat, self-centered, egotistical, my way or the highway kind of guy, always in trouble, doing whatever, The military is probably the best thing that ever happened to me.
Probably.
So it was.
Discipline.
It was, yeah. It was discipline.
So,
And all of that. So yeah,
props out to the Huntley-Brinkley report, because the Texaco Huntley-Brinkley reports started October 29, 1956, and I love this. This is great. It replaced the Camel News caravan. You're going to recognize this guy. The anchor was John Cameron Swayze. But the reason that I wanted to mention this is because, the Huntley-Brinkley report was the first one I started seeing with the first convention I watched, which was 1960, and they were at it. Chet Huntley, he was actually a family of the Huntleys from Huntley, Montana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cool dude. I met him. He was great.
Yeah. Well, in, let's see, 1962, the Beach Boys' debut album, Surfin' Safari, was released. So.
Yep, and women went wild, and guys kept shaking their head and going, what is it with these women in this music? Yeah. Oh, I know what it is. Oh, this is good. Yeah, it made for the roaring 50s, and those big cars to go out and look at the stars and the lights of the city, listening, of course, to the Beach Boys.
That's right. Yeah. And in 1966, the National Organization for Women was founded and immediately took a left turn.
That's right. The Now movement, it was known as, of course. And it took on quite a success. And, it's still around today. Like you said, June 30th, 1963, 53 years ago. So, yeah, it's located in Washington, D.C., but it's not anything of what it was originally. #we, isn't it? Or what is it? Hashtag now? Or
yeah, something. Yeah, they're they're the Now group, I think. National Organization of Women.
Yep.
Is Now. Yeah. So here's a question for you from our text line, Shane. What kind of current is used in electrocutions? Direct current or alternating current?
Direct current.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. Yeah, because it isn't designed to come back.
Correct.
Yeah. It's designed to go there and stay.
That's right. And that was the big argument between Tesla, who believed in direct current, and what's that guy that invented the light bulb?
Edison, the Edison guy?
Westinghouse,
The Edison guy?
The Edison guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, alternating current. But remember, folks, all those towers you see moving electricity, 50% of the power grid is lost in transmission.
Yeah.
Someone solved that problem.
Didn't one of them electrocute an elephant to show the power of the electricity or something like that? I don't know.
That was Tesla.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a pretty nasty thing to do.
Didn't kill the elephant because it's alternating current.
Oh, well, okay. All right. Well, we've got to get in our own alternating current here, the current news and the current weather. So we'll be right back with more right after this, with more current stuff. 26 minutes before the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 29th, 2019, 3 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of 12. Wow. Okay. If you say so. Hey, don't forget you can win tickets to the Bobcats playing Southern Utah this Saturday. We're going to give them away on Thursday morning. All you got to do is send the word football to our AM 1450 KMMS app and our app chat line, and you'll be entered in the drawing. And we're also going to give away 2 by phone here in the studio. So if you don't have a smartphone, you can still win. Or if you have the app chat, you may have 2 chances to win. You can win on the app, or you can win on the phone. So there you are. On this date in 2004, Osama bin Laden, in a videotaped statement, directly admitted for the first time that he had ordered the September 11th attacks.
Well, that cost him a bullet, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, it took a long time to get that guy. I think Clinton passed on him once because, oh my gosh, we might kill other people and not him, or or he may not be where we think he is. So why not just err on the side of whatever?
That's right. And he was an operative of the CIA first against the Russians. So.
Yeah.
Let us not forget that.
So we probably we'll take full responsibility for creating him and his little group, huh?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, in 2004, the European Union leaders signed the first EU's first constitution, and Brexit got another extension, Shane.
Yeah,
this thing's gonna go on till who knows when.
Well, the problem is the Europeans don't want them to leave, and
Yeah.
they're going to. They're just trying to figure out how to implement it, and all these kinds of things, like a treaty like this, like you have we talked to the congressman, the USMCA. It's got to be funded, and so that's part of the problem. It's not just how do you deal with the borders and passports and trade, but it's also how do you fund it, because they want a big piece of coin, the Europeans from England.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they want to make up the loss,
Yeah,
at least temporarily. They got to do something to make up for Greece.
Yeah, like 700 million pounds. That's a lot.
That's a lot of money. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Well, the only birthday we're talking about today is Fanny Brice. She was a American singer and comedian in silence and talkies back in the day. Born on this date in 1891, died in 1951. But quite a comedian and whatever of her time, a big name back in the 20s and 30s.
And the story of her life told in a musical made Barbara Streisand famous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because she paid, in Funny Girl, she played Fanny Mae.
Mm-hmm. Fanny Mae Brice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, let's see. Local news. Public comment is sought for growth in the Four Corners area. I know at least one person that's going to like that story.
Oh, my gosh. Here it comes.
Belgrade, Bozeman, and Gallatin County officials are seeking feedback on their draft plan to tackle the rapid growth west of Bozeman. The Triangle Plan details goals and policies that emphasize compact development, mixed land use, and preservation of agricultural land and open space. The plan allows how Belgrade, Bozeman, and Gallatin County can collaborate on projects and services, including developing parks and trails, providing emergency services, and updating zoning regulations. So we'll see how that works out for those folks down there. They're also hosting a bunch of open houses during which attendees can read the plans, ask questions, and provide feedback. And the open houses are going to be the first one's at Montfortin School at 5 o'clock from 6 to 8 p.m., and then they're going to have one the next night, Gallatin Valley YMCA on November 6th from 6 to 8. Then they're going to be at the Belgrade City Hall on November 13th, 6 to 8, and Gallatin County Courthouse on November 14th from 5:30 to 7:30. So the Triangle Plan's been in the works for 5 years. Belgrade, Bozeman, and Gallatin County formed the Planning Coordination Committee in 2016 based on a 2014 study that indicated coordinated efforts could help the Gallatin Valley address growth. Since then, the committee has met with several groups, including the Gallatin Valley Land Trust, Association of Gallatin Valley Agricultural Irrigators, and the Central Valley Fire District to understand their concerns and to hear their ideas about growth in that area. So if you want to get involved in that, once again, Montfortin School on November 5th from 6 to 8, Gallatin Valley YMCA November 6th from 6 to 8, and the Belgrade City Hall November 13th from 6 to 8, and the Gallatin County Courthouse on November 14th from 5:30 to 7:30. So that will take care of that. And we need to take a quick break. We'll be right back. 19 minutes for the top of the hour. It's Tuesday, October 29th, 2019. 3 degrees outside. We're looking for 12 degrees for our high today. I don't think any snow is going to melt. So, and if you're driving on Huffine coming in, man, that was a skating rink out there this morning. So it's really, really slick. It looks like it might be dry pavement, but it ain't. It is slick. So be careful out there. We don't want anybody having a bad experience on the way to work. So slow down, give yourself time to get there. And, if you're late, you gotta You got a halfway decent excuse, I guess. So it's snowy and slick and nasty. Oh, I got to turn you up. I'm sorry. Forgot to.
Yeah, the excuse is I didn't leave early enough from home.
Yeah, that was it. That always works in the winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here at noon. I just didn't leave early enough. It's really, really bad out there. So. From our text line, 478-8298, the failure to launch a Brexit is just another example of the ruling class ignoring the will of the common folk. So surprising. Not surprising.
No, not at all surprising. Very disappointing.
Yeah, I was going to say, you vote for this, just get out. What's the deal? And Parliament's holding it up. They're not going to vote for it, or what? Their constituents spoke, but they are they like Democrats in Congress?
Yeah, precisely. Very good. Great analogy, and it's true.
Yeah, we don't want to impeach the president, but here we are.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's our little demolition group going after everybody out there. So, yeah. Let's see. Also, more in the public arena, Bozeman High is going to start their $28 million makeover. So, I know we're all ready. We are all ready for the taxes on that, of course, along with the high school and the safety center and the whatever else is on our ballots coming up. But anyway, architects' plans for renovating Bozeman High School won unanimous approval Monday from the Bozeman School Board, opening the way for the $28.5 million makeover. Plans call for building a new two-story classroom building with 16 classrooms, a new student commons and entry facing the Ruth Thibault Way, and a new 750-seat auditorium that the school and community have wanted for years.
Exactly.
Yeah. With the recent $13.7 million construction of a new sports stadium and other site improvements, it's like we'll have a brand new campus. Well, good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Little Rugrats will have a nice, comfortable place to do their drugs and stuff.
Yeah, full of safe zones.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, trustees applauded after their 8-0 vote Monday night. That approval is a milestone. It means the Bozeman High renovation project can go out for bids in the next few weeks. So contractors plan to start construction this summer when students get out of school, with a goal of completing the work by 2022.
Wow. Well, you guys keep up. It's the old expression: keep up with Joneses. You just built a brand new one, so got to make sure that everybody's happy. Everybody's got to be happy.
Yeah. Well, the National Weather Service meteorologists say snowfall in Montana has broken a 35-year-old record. Great Falls Tribune reported Sunday that more than 31 inches of snow has been recorded in Great Falls in September and October.
Wow. You called it, baby. Good one.
A lot of snow there, yeah. Scientists say the amount of snowfall sets a record for the time frame beginning July 1st. Well, we always get a lot of snow in July, but the previous record was 18.1 inches in 1984. Meteorologists say that is more than half of the 60 inches that routinely fall during an entire snow season. That's what I thought. It's about 5 feet we get, something like that.
Yeah.
So per year, 5 to 7, something like that. Meteorologists say snow is expected to continue with record-breaking cold through mid-November. And scientists say the average temperature in October has been 40.3 degrees, about 5.9 degrees below normal. So much for that global warming. Scientists say residents should be prepared as current weather conditions continues to behave more like December or January.
Oh, don't look out your window. You might figure it out on your own.
That would be absolutely correct. Yeah, you don't want to do that. So, also on our website, I posted a story the other day from the Associated Press that we've had two more vaping hospitalizations here in Montana. And the Department of Public Health and Human Services said Monday a Cascade County teen was hospitalized this summer and again in October when a Lake County resident in their 30s was hospitalized this month. Both are recovering. One person reported vaping both nicotine and THC, the active ingredient in marijuana, while the other had a history of vaping THC only. So Montana has confirmed 4 cases of lung injury and 1 death associated with vaping. And state medical doctor Dr. Greg Holzman says the health department is working with local public officials on more investigations. And we also had a local judge turn down the governor's request to stop selling vaping materials. And so they are still free to go. So,
well, you know what this is all about? One thing, marijuana and the legalization of it. That's what this is about.
I think so. Yeah, federal officials have counted 1,604 lung injury cases and 34 deaths so far. So that's kind of where we are with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, and the judges and all of those folks. Well, they. I don't know what they're thinking when they do that, Shane. I mean.
They're thinking of their jobs. They don't want it legalized.
Well, I don't know. I'm not sure what's what they're thinking there, but at any rate, so I don't know. Well, in other news, looking through here, that the if I can find it. Well, we're going to have a meeting in Billings soon on the Keystone Pipeline, and at least $60 million in tax revenue would flow to eastern Montana counties every year. And that's what we've been reporting forever since this thing started, that $60 million a year. It's not the number of jobs created by the pipeline, or it's not the, obviously there'll be a lot of jobs created while you build the thing, but once you get it done, there's only 4 or 5 people that are going to have to maintain it or watch it or keep track of it. But $60 million in taxes paid by a foreign entity, thank you very much, not paid by taxpayers here in the United States, paid by Shane. Thank you, Shane, for that.
You're welcome.
If it finally gets up and running. And that is apparently based on 2012 numbers, according to my recent conversation with Attorney General Tim Fox. If you back the Keystone XL Pipeline being built in Montana and want to see the project up and running, there's an important meeting that they're going to do in Billings, and that is going to be today at 4:30 to 7:30 at the Billings Hotel and Convention Center. So if you're listening to us over in Billings, you may want to take a look at that, get over there and check it out. And so they're going to be, obviously there'll be vocal opponents to it showing up. But I think most people just don't, they just don't understand this situation with this pipeline, how beneficial that would be to some of the poorest counties in Montana. I mean, come on. Yeah.
And the safest and cleanest way to transport it.
I was going to say, yeah, that pipelines have improved so much that they can shut them down immediately if there's a leak. They got all kinds of leak detectors, and they've got, a TV sensors in there, sensors. They've got all kinds of stuff to let them know if this thing is leaking at all, and they can shut it down pretty darn quick before it.
Right. Yeah. I think it's every half a mile they have a shut-off valve.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So it's pretty easy to get out there and get it done. And that's what I say. You'll only have a few people that'll be monitoring this thing, but they are monitoring it. So if there is any kind of a disruption or something like that, an earthquake or something that would, break the line or some kind of seismic activity, then they can do it right away.
Oh, yeah, they've been doing it for over 100 years, and the original ones were done with wood.
Yeah. So, Yeah. Well, yeah. If you look at the Transamerica, it is Transamerica, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Like I say, if you go to their website, they've got a whole thing on the safety
Pipeline.
features
Yeah.
of the pipeline, and every year they get better at it.
Of course they
So,
do. Yeah.
yeah, holding this thing up has just been long enough. Trump okayed it, I think, almost immediately after he got in office, and we're
First week
still
in
sitting
office.
here.
Yeah.
We're still sitting here goofing off with it. So we need to get it done because it's important to the people of Montana. $60 million a year coming into our state. What's that going to do for schools, roads, infrastructure, bridges, all of that stuff? In some of the poorest counties. And right now, if you really want to feel the heat, we're subsidizing some of these counties that don't have enough population to do their own stuff. So part of our tax dollars, instead of going to Bozeman or Gallatin County or Park County or Madison or whatever, they're spending these other counties. So this would be a boon to not only those counties, and they can start paying us back. What do you think?
That'd be good. Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah,
You might get a pizza or two out of them.
yeah, let's get a pizza or two out of them, by all means. We should be able to do that. So, but yeah, we should be doing that. There shouldn't even be a discussion about this. I'm not even sure why there is, but
Well, it's everybody has an opinion.
apparently so. Yeah, apparently so. So. Let's see. The University of Montana is holding a vape turn-in drive. The University of Montana wants to take your vaping stuff off your hands. It doesn't sound like it's a buyback.
No, I was going to say.
I think it's just a drop-off.
Yeah, that's a drop-off.
Yeah. The 5-day event will start Saturday before the football game and run through Wednesday at various sites on campus. Those who turn in vaping pens and e-cigarettes can receive gift cards and will be entered into a drawing for an Apple Watch and a set of Beats headphones. There you go.
Wow,
Man, that's
so cool.
every U of M student needs Beats headphones. I mean, come on.
Yeah. So they can listen to music during their class.
That's right. Yeah. Well, the effort is also intended to make students aware that there are campus resources to help them if they want to stop using nicotine or tobacco products. District Court judge recently issued an order blocking Governor Steve Bullocks' temporary ban on the sale of flavored vaping products in Montana, where one person has died and two others suffered lung injuries tied to vaping. So, yeah, it's quite a deal.
It is, and the amazing thing is that you would have thought the Obama administration would have taken this much interest in all the people dying from fentanyl and OxyContin.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you get a few hundred people, or I mean, all deaths are terrible. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying, or.
Sure.
But
yeah.
but the problem is that it's one of those things where you go, well, why wasn't this dealt with all these other drugs? But that's just the nature of government.
Well, it is for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, they cherry pick. Yeah.
Well, also, Montana officials reached a temporary deal on Friday. They'll allow one of the largest coal mines in the U.S. to reopen amid a legal dispute with the new owners of the Navajo Nation. The Navajo Transitional Energy Company shut down the mine Thursday after Montana regulators insisted the company waive its immunity as a tribal entity from future lawsuits. So, they didn't want to be responsible for any cleanups or environmental damage or anything like that. But apparently the two sides temporarily resolved the dispute following 2 days of negotiations that yielded an agreement for a 75-day limited waiver of immunity for the company, said that the Montana DEQ spokesman said. So we'll see if they do damage anything and how they pay for it if they have to.
But the implied they want to damage something, that's not a cool thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, as we move into other things, the we've all seen the news reports, I guess, of this terrorist being killed and the reaction from the various news media, Shane. That just I every time you think you've seen it all, it just keeps going.
Well, as we discussed it the last couple of days, and we should discuss it again. I just see the Democratic Party reaching another new level. They're destroying their brand. This is not something Americans dealt with. They want the USMCA treaty done. They want infrastructure done. They want drugs done, immigration dealt with, healthcare done, and it's just another hammer to beat Trump over the head with, literally. And he was right about this. Going back 3 weeks when he says he's pulling out of Syria, they set this guy up. Obama kills bin Laden and everyone's cheering at the White House gates. He kills the worst guy. I mean, there's no question that Osama bin Laden was bad, but this guy, oh man, you can't even, the people he burned in cells and the people he killed. The guy was sick, sick.
Yeah. Over 200 people beheaded publicly, I think, something like that. And as you talked about, people burned in cages. They were drowned in cages. I mean, just public intimidation of the worst possible kind. That
and the suggestion by the New York Times and the Washington Post, about this guy was an educated leader, and I mean, like, really, I mean, it's just. It's beyond the pale. Isn't that a great quote? Somebody made it.
Yeah, it's beyond the pale. Yeah. You have to look that up. Who said beyond the pale?
Yeah, exactly.
Our listeners will know, I'm sure. So all right, believe it or not, when we come back, 5 things you need to know. And then we got Jeff Krauss coming in at 8:00. So we got some very special things to talk to him about. So you'll want to stay tuned for that. So by all means. All right. We got Fox News at the top of the hour. Got Montana State News. Got Brooke Foster weather. And Tom and Shane and the morning Soapbox will return right after that. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you, Dan. Welcome back, everyone. Second hour of the KMMS Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. 6 minutes after the hour. It's Tuesday, October 29, 2019. 3 degrees outside. We're looking for a high of only 12 degrees today. So it's going to be cold out there. And again, if you're driving in on Huffine, it is slick on Huffine. So be careful out there. It's pretty nasty when I came in this morning, so be careful out there. Be careful on all the roads because we want everybody to get to work safely. And so by all means, our poll question of the day, how much time do you spend listening to KMMS? 50% say 5+ hours, Shane.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. 25% say they listen for 3 hours, 12% 1 hour, and 12 another says 6 a.m. to 4 p.m. 6 days a week, and a few on Sundays. So good for them. Thank you very much for supporting us. We appreciate that very much. Our poll question from yesterday, do you still wear a costume on Halloween? 27% said yes, I dress up is the whole point. 27% also said most years I don't. And 22% said no, I feel dumb after a few minutes. And then another 11% said what's Halloween? So there you are with those. So... also, don't forget we're going to give away some football tickets on Thursday in the morning before 9 o'clock. You can win 2 ways. One is we'll give away 2 tickets by phone, and we're also going to give away 2 tickets on our app chat, AM 1450 KMMS app. And app chat is right next to the listen button on your smartphone if you have our KMMS AM app. And all you got to do is text the word football to us. And you could be in the drawing to win 2 tickets to watch the Bobcats take on Southern Utah this Saturday. It's Ag Appreciation Day, so wear your bib overalls and your straw hat. And it's supposed to be fairly warm there, 48 to 50 degrees for the game, so should be pretty nice. No snow in the forecast, so should be a good time at the game. But 2 ways you can win is Thursday morning by phone, and we close the app chat line for football tickets at 9 a.m. on Thursday morning. So text football to us at the AM 1450 KMMS app chat, and we'll get you in the drawing, and hopefully you will be a winner. All right, this week in history, I guess, or this the 5 things you need to know today, which I should say. I'm all confused about what we're doing because it's Tuesday.
That's right.
But anyway, our first item, Army Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman, the top Ukraine expert on the National Security Council, will testify before House impeachment investigators on Tuesday that he listened to President Trump's July 25th phone call with Ukrainian President Zelensky and, out of a sense of duty, reported what he heard to a superior. And he will be the first deposed White House official who listened to Trump's phone call with Zelensky. And during that call, Trump asked Zelensky to investigate former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter, a request Vindman said he found damaging to American interest. He will also implicate U.S. Ambassador Gordon Sondland in Trump's pressure campaign, and he will tell investigators he is not the whistleblower. I'm not sure what the difference between asking to investigate Biden and the Steele dossier is before you even have a presidential candidate, but what do I know? I guess you can. Well, I guess it depends on which side of the aisle you're on as to whether or not you can investigate a private citizen of the United States of America.
But it's a theater of the absurd. This is Trump's interest in the 2016 election, which are the Democrats who said we can't have foreigners involved in our elections, and he's trying to find out if the Ukraine was involved as well. And so it's just a theater of absurd. That, again, at the outset in the first block, the Democrats are just destroying their brand. Americans are looking at this, listening to this, seeing this, and going, what a waste of time.
I was going to say, don't we have health care? Don't we have infrastructure? Don't we have, more important things to deal with than this?
Immigration.
Yeah. Than this? Yeah. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know. It's very sad. So let's not talk about it anymore, because it's just a theater of the absurd.
Okay. Well, speaking of the impeachment, the House of Representatives is set to vote on the impeachment inquiry's next step. Nancy Pelosi announced Monday a resolution will be brought to the floor this week that affirms the ongoing existing investigation and formalizes procedures. The White House has criticized Democrats for not taking a formal vote to authorize the impeachment inquiry, but Pelosi says this resolution will eliminate any doubts as to whether President Trump can refuse to comply with Congress's investigation. So the House Rules Committee Chair Jim McGovern, Democrat of Massachusetts, said Monday this move will ensure transparency and provide a clear path forward, adding that it's the right thing to do for the institution and the American people. I am so glad these guys are looking out for me.
Oh, and all this is a trap. It's a process crime they're trying to create, that the president doesn't follow requests from the House.
Yeah.
So they're going to put all these guidelines in, and then they'll say, oh, he's not following them, so we can impeach him for that. That's just, all this is a trap, because they can't find anything. And none of Shifty Shifts, in his pile of shift, is coming up with anything in the intelligence hearings that he's having. And yet, again, why isn't this in front of Nadler's committee of the Judiciary Committee? Again, it's just a theater of the absurd. And the one thing that's great about this is now, if she puts this on the floor, which they're handing the election to the Republicans. Because every Democrat's going to vote for this, and now every congressman's going to run an ad.
Yeah.
Those 30 or 41 or 32 or 42 counties that or districts that Trump won by anywhere from 10 to 30%, all the Republicans running in those districts will use this vote to run a campaign on.
Well, I would certainly think so. Now, I'm not sure how they're going to get this done, Shane, because well, in the first place, all the senators running for office would have to be there. They can't be out campaigning. They've got to be in there listening to the trial portion of this, which would take place in the Senate.
Correct. And
if it goes that far.
And the key to that is there's a House rule on impeachment established by Clinton that all senators are required to be seated at 1:00 every day during the impeachment trial. If they're not, and this is a matter of precedent in courts in your country. If you have a case and you go outside the courtroom during the case and not break, but go outside and miss testimony, you can't testify because you
can't vote. You mean?
Well, no, but I'm saying in a case you can't testify. So in this case, if a senator isn't sat in a seat at 1:00 for the trial, he can't vote in the final vote. So yeah, I mean, again, the Republicans win because it's going to make them all look dumb, and they can't go out and be campaigning to run for president. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a mess. I mean,
it's a mess.
You can call it that. I've seen messes before, and this is one.
Brought to you live by the demolition party of your country. Yeah.
Man. Well, I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss for words to even talk about this. Even our temperature's gone down to 1 from 3 while we've been talking. Jeez. So, I'm really surprised Nancy's going to bring this to the floor. I really am.
Well, she doesn't have a choice, right? You can't.
Yeah, probably she doesn't. But she's put it off as long as she can. And I think she was waiting that if I wait long enough, we'll have, they're going to be gone in a week, and they're going to be gone over the Christmas holidays, and they're not going to do anything until January, and then serious campaigning's got to start in January because you're going to have a primary in Iowa in December, and then
Iowa's in February. Yeah, Iowa's in February.
There's something in January, isn't there?
No,
I'm sorry. When's New Hampshire?
New Hampshire's after Iowa.
When did they start in February?
In Iowa's in February, then New Hampshire, then South Carolina.
When did they start in February? They always did it in January.
No, they do it in February, Tom. We've talked about this before.
I don't know.
Well, you go look it up, buddy. Go look it up.
I don't care. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter when they. Doesn't matter when they.
No, but they should care, and that's why this is it's a theater of the absurd because and their internal polling is telling them it's not working. That's why they're putting this vote on the floor.
Yeah,
that's why.
Well, it'd be interesting to see what that vote is and how it works.
Well, like you say, the more they push this, the bigger victim they make Trump to be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all this is. It's just. I mean, with what you saw the last couple of days over this situation in Syria, there's no question. There can't be any question by any American that the press and the Democrats have this absolute hatred of their president, and that's very sad. Very sad.
Well, what can I tell you? I don't know.
I can't. That's what.
Well, let's see. The next debate is going to be November 20th in Georgia, and of course it'll be hosted by the impartial MSNBC and the Washington Post, of course.
Well, the amazing thing is if they have this vote this week, on November 1st, Friday, Trump has a rally, and then the following Monday on the 11th, he has another rally. So this vote turns up with his rally for Friday. And then I'm sure this week or next week that investigative general, the IG report on the Pfizer warrant issue will come out. So I mean, it's just it's a shift storm coming.
Okay, if you say so.
There you go.
Well, there's another debate December 19th. That's going to be in Los Angeles. It'll be hosted by PBS NewsHour and Politico. Another unbiased group of Democrats will do that. And then they've got 6 more debates between January to April. And then, of course, as you mentioned, the primaries are going to start. I don't remember them. I don't remember starting in February. I thought that they just rock and roll right off the bat in the new year, but that's pretty stupid to start in February. Jeez. So February 3rd, the Iowa caucuses, February 11th, New Hampshire, and Nevada on the 22nd, and South Carolina on the 29th. And then
there you go.
Yeah. And
so the Iowa the Iowa vote is in February.
Yeah, and then March 3rd you have Super Tuesday.
That's right. And then right after that is California, because they moved it up right after Super Tuesday. So that it'll all be over by May.
Well, they got California in the Super Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. They moved it up.
Yeah, so it's in there. Texas is in there as well. Virginia, they got some big ones in there. And then the next big ones would be on the 10th of
how can we
10th
forget
of March?
We can't forget the the California primary, because the Kennedy assassination. It used to be in June.
Yeah,
remember, and it was always the last one, or close to the last one before the convention.
Yeah, ours is in. Everything's decided by the time we vote. I think in June.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, in June.
Yeah, we're in June. June 2nd. Yeah, we're June 2nd. District of Columbia, New Jersey, New Mexico, South Dakota, and the Virgin Islands are in with us. And then we're last. That's
the last set of primaries. Yeah.
And then the Democratic National Convention is the 13th through the 16th of July, and then the Republican is the 24th and 27th of August. So we will have an advantage, or the Republicans will have an advantage, I should say, going second, because they could counter whatever's said at the Democrat convention.
And the second thing about this that's so important is the primaries for House and Senate seats all take place. So, those are going to be really interesting to see if any Democrats get primaried.
That'll be true, yeah. All right, we got to take another quick break. We're back in 90 seconds. Don't go away. 23 minutes after 7 a.m. It's Tuesday, October 29th, 2019. 2 degrees outside. Shane Montalban, half man, half amazing, on the line. Freezing in Vancouver, British Columbia, where it's a balmy 52 degrees. Give me a break, you. God, sitting there giving me the shivers.
Yeah, well, I'm 500 miles north of you.
Yeah, right. I know. That's the disgusting part. Let's take a phone call. 522-TALK is the number, 522-8255. Calling on the morning soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's up?
Hey, I want to talk about Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, all right.
So, yesterday you said, what if the Chinese people were free to experience capitalism?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't necessarily capitalism. I said what they could accomplish if they had the same freedoms we do.
Well, Hong Kong had a high degree of freedom for over 50 years, for sure.
Yeah, Singapore too, and look at them compared to China.
But the thing about Hong Kong is they were ruled under a brutal colonial occupation.
Well, yeah.
And they still
flourished. Yeah.
They still flourished. Mm-hmm. I mean, I knew a lot of the Royal Hong Kong Police. I used to play rugby against them, and they had the power of life and death.
Oh yeah.
In Hong Kong.
Yeah, they weren't nice guys.
Hong Kong's courts did not tolerate anybody that was guilty. He just got shot on the spot.
Well, most
The
fascist
Hong Kong
states don't.
police were British subjects, were Brits and South Africans that took those jobs.
Mm-hmm.
They were not Chinese.
Okay.
So, would the regime in China have been any more brutal than the Royal Hong Kong Police?
Well, hard to tell. They could be. I don't know.
Well, yeah, but this started over the mainland government have an extradition law to take people out of Hong Kong that were found guilty and put them in prison on the mainland, and that's what started these riots to begin with, or demonstrations.
But Hong Kong, I mean, was a lease, a British lease of Chinese property that basically began during the Boxer Rebellion, correct?
That's right. After the Boxer Rebellion, reparations included land and a lot of silver from China, which created the British pound sterling.
Yes. So, and the Boxer Rebellion, I call it the First World War.
Yeah, Macau ended up with the Dutch ended up
really
with Macau, or the Portuguese rather. The Portuguese ended up with Macau, and that's why there's such a
every world power against the Chinese boxers.
Right.
Because they all had embassies there. If you look at who the opponents were in the Boxer Rebellion, it was a true world war.
Well, no, it was a civil war.
I mean, yeah, but it was...
It brought down the Empire of China and the Dowager that was the leader of the dynasty of China.
But it was all the world powers coming together to fight against China.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so I call that a world war.
It would be fair to call it that, but it was more of a civil war that they were participating in. But yeah.
Anyway, I mean, should we be supporting the freedom movement in Hong Kong, where they want to be more like America, or should we stick to the terms which were a lease that got returned in 1997, regardless of how the people of Hong Kong wanted? I mean, pretend like they were.
Well, but the answer to your question is yes. The people in the Middle East are burning American flags and saying "Death to America" in their demonstrations, and the people in Hong Kong are carrying American flags and singing your national anthem. So I think you should support them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do too. I think we should support them, but the absolute terms of the lease agreement were to return the lease to China.
Well, what Hong Kong should do is what Taiwan did. They should go to the United Nations and declare themselves a separate state. That's what they should do.
That.
I mean, yeah, that's what they should do. Yeah, they should go to the United Nations and say, we want to be a separate state like Taiwan from the mainland.
But the thing is that when the British agreed to return Hong Kong in '97, they negotiated a clause that said they had 50 years of special status.
That's correct.
And China doesn't want to honor that.
Yeah.
That's correct.
All right, I got to go, Benny. I'm up against the clock at the bottom of the hour.
Okay, you guys debate that. Talk amongst yourselves.
All right, thanks for the call. All right. Shane, we got a caller waiting on the line, so if you can deal with that, we will be back right after this, and we'll continue on. 25 minutes for the top of the hour. We've got callers on the line. Let's go to the phone. Shane, 522-TALK is the number. Caller on the Morning Soapbox with Tom and Shane. What's going on?
Yeah, good morning, Ken here. Just wanted to make a quick opinion
Sure.
On the show. My comment is that the reason why China is one up on the U.S. and will remain one up on the U.S. is because of their what I called totalitarian capitalism. Shane said maybe it was fascist capitalism, but irregardless, I think because they have a control of their government and the economy, I think they're just going to constantly be one up on us.
Well, that may be true. Certainly, I still believe if they had the freedoms we do, they could do remarkable things, and their country would be probably the premier nation of the world.
Yeah.
With the amount of people they have, I mean, there's got to be, when you're talking about 1 billion people, I mean, they've got more geniuses in China than we have population in the United States.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Right. Right.
And they do have their share of billionaires.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
they're very smart people.
Yeah.
I was in Maui about 3 weeks ago, and there was a big firm. The name escapes me, but they were from China, and I looked it up because I saw the reservations at the table, and there was about 150 of them, and it was a luau, and I saw one American, one guy over there, and I just went up to him and kneeled and said, hey, what do you think about AI? When do you think this is going to really take hold? He says, well, it's already taking hold. He said within 5 years, everything's going to be AI. And that's going to change a lot of things here in this country, like facts and no facts and who's got the facts, what's true and what's not. AI and blockchain's going to take care of a lot of that, including the shifty shifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well,
we're 5G and 5G. AI and 5G are going to change the world again.
Yeah. Well, we're like we were at the turn of the century when all of a sudden we got electricity, we got flight, we got the automobile, we got the telephone and telegraph, and all of those things kind of happened at once. So we're on the precipice of that same kind of thing happening electronically.
Yes, I agree. I think the traditional past is in the rearview mirror, and we are going to see a world that we will not recognize.
Yeah, no, it's going to be pretty amazing. Well, when you figure that the entire knowledge of the human race doubles every 13 months, I think now it may be shorter than that. I don't know, but
no, it's every 76 days we double our knowledge in, for example, medicine. Now, whether you implement it or not is a different story. But,
correct, yeah.
You have to get the infrastructure going, but the knowledge is there.
Yes.
For example, the Israelis, they found a cure for cancer, apparently, and it's to be released here now in about 6 months. But we'll see.
Yeah.
There's just some amazing things going on, guys.
There sure is, and we're glad to be here to witness it and talk about it.
One economist calls it the positive side of vertical and the negative side of vertical. And the positive side is going to outweigh and outpower the negative side of vertical, but we're going to have a big flattening, I think, first before we move into.
Yeah. There's going to be a transition where a lot of people are going to go under really quick, I think, and.
Yeah, I think it's already happening, actually.
Well, it is. Yeah, you're seeing retail stores close all over the country, and that's a change in the way we buy things and the way we, operate our households and things like that. So yeah, it's coming. I agree with you.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for the call. You. Yeah, appreciate it. 522 Talk is the number. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on the line. What's going on?
Well, there's all kinds of things going on there, Tom.
Oh, man. If I'd have known it was you.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to figure out who got killed more times, Zawahiri or Baghdadi.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, this is number 6 for Baghdadi. I mean, I don't know how many times Zawahiri got it, but
yeah.
I mean, it's a little crazy. There's all kinds of things from yesterday not yesterday, but back down the road a ways that are popping up. The 2 photos of McCain with Baghdadi.
Of course.
Way back when. Those are up there. And we heard two different people on Fox News claim that Assad gassed his own people. and that's BS. I never bought that one. But, yeah, it's pretty interesting. Judicial Watch, well, first, the Situation Room. You see the picture of Trump in the Situation Room and can look at the kids and then look at Obama's for bin Laden?
Right, yeah.
And I think Donnie Boy was sending Obama a message with that one, and they turned that one out there. Judicial Watch filed a FOIA request. They wanted all the pictures of bin Laden getting buried at sea. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
And it come out through their FOIA request that within hours of that, this U.S. Special Operations Commander William McCravey, according to text messages or emails back and forth, ordered his subordinates to destroy all photos of bin Laden's body in particular. So, I don't know if that's a smoking gun or what, but there's a lot of people out there that believe that bin Laden was killed in early '01.
Well, and remember, 4 months ago they got his son too.
Yeah. Well.
Right.
Oh,
right.
Actually, Pete, Obama is running a 7-Eleven in Oxnard.
In Oxnard.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. But
he's doing well. He's one of the top 50 stores in California.
Yeah, he's selling Slurpees
and lottery tickets.
Yeah,
that was the name of the pharmacy up the street from where I grew up as a kid, Oxnard. But the other thing
you're probably familiar with these 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Well, it's actually they just tore it down.
Oh.
Well, he's lucky it's not in Westwood because that's burning in L.A.
Yeah.
But anyway, Trump, when he after the photo came out, I think it was the next time he talked. He says, talking about the raid, and he says we got a lot of information from the Baghdadi raid, information we were looking for, and some of it was very sensitive information. Now that's I think if I was Brennan and the gang and Obama, I'd be perspiring heavily right now.
Yeah.
I mean I think they stuck their finger in their eye with the whole Ukrainian thing and everything else that's going on, because we're not hearing nowhere near what went on in Ukraine.
Oh no.
And it's pretty damning if you can, like you said, if you can believe Mr. Zarev.
Yeah.
He didn't mince his words. He just came out and told them what he thought was going on. But yeah, and the photos of McCain, that's when the deep state was building their ISIS force, and that was what they're doing now. I have no idea, but what they were doing then, that was the pipeline deal.
Yeah. And
they wanted Assad out. And I assumed that it was to keep, to hurt Russia. They wanted that pipeline going through Syria to hurt the Russians, but they sure went about it the hard way. I don't know. It's hard to understand the way these guys operate sometimes. And the last thing I got is Baghdadi couldn't have been running too fast because he walks with a cane.
Yeah.
And he must have been sleeping with his suicide vest on if that thing happened, as fast as they said.
Yeah. Well, he could. That's.
I suppose it must be kind of uncomfortable sleeping with one of them bulky things on, and you never know when something's going to go off.
I guess, yeah. You turn over and hit the kill switch, and
bang, you're gone.
That's a wake up. That's a wake up call you don't want to have.
Well, no, that's a permanent sleeping pill. That one.
Well, that's true. That is.
Anyway, that's all I got, guys.
All right, man. Thanks for the call.
Buddy.
All right.
You bet.
Take care. All right, we got to take another break. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes. Hang on. 12 minutes before the top of the hour, Jeff Krauss will join us at 8 o'clock, and we'll be talking about city stuff, I guess. And Well, we want to talk about two things. We're going to be talking about Winco Foods, and we're also going to be talking about the Costco. And we'll see what's up with those two places.
Exactly.
If anything is up with those two
If
places.
anything is up,
Yeah. If anything is up with those two places. We'll find out, I guess. So, from our text line, 478-8298, I have a friend in Alaska close to Fairbanks. Called last night. It's 50 degrees there in Fairbanks. So we're happy.
There you go.
We're really happy for the people in Fairbanks. All right. What does every suicide vest instructor say to his class? I'm only going to show you people this one time.
Very good.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. we got to go with that one. All right, 5 things we need to know. Well, North Carolina, a panel of 3 North Carolina Superior Court judges temporarily blocked the state's Republican-drawn congressional map on Monday, a ruling that plaintiffs have a substantial likelihood of proving the current districts are extremely partisan gerrymanders. And it's gerrymander, not gerrymander. So just so you know.
Well, the difficult about this is that, of course, it's done with every census. It's coming up in 2020 that the state houses redraw the districts they've been allotted. But there's so much precedent on this for the last 160, 75 years of your country that, it's really hard to move away from it if the state appeals it to the Supreme Court. So, but,
well, that's what I think it's been. Yeah, it's been in place for a long time. That if you win, you've got the ability to draw the districts the way you want them, and right. It keeps you in power. And
right.
So. But yeah, they've got till December 15th to redraw the map, or I guess the court will take some kind of action. So anyway, the same 3 judges threw out state legislative districts in September due to extreme partisan gerrymandering. And Republicans currently hold 10 of North Carolina's 13 U.S. House seats, despite the electorate being more or less evenly split. So.
Yeah.
Pretty true. Hard for them not to draw a partisan gerrymandering district.
But this may all change if the black vote moves, right?
Well, it could, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. In Georgia, the gal who lost in Georgia claimed voter suppression, yet they had more black turnout than
ever in their history.
They've had in a long time with the Trump vote and Trump-Clinton vote. So it's pretty hard to make that case. And also, as I've said many times, what an insult it is to call, voter suppression. What an insult to black people that they can't make it to the DMV somehow. They're too ignorant to get an ID. They're too incompetent to find the polling place or
to
whatever.
Register.
To register to vote. I can't imagine that they're going, what? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's more African Americans registered to vote in the United States than ever before in your history. So.
Yeah, so I don't know. That dog won't hunt.
No,
so.
It's not a dog whistle.
No, it's not.
No.
Well, we've also talked about, Shane, we got the multiple wildfires burning across California, including the Kincaid Fire in Sonoma County and the Getty Fire in Los Angeles. The wind-fueled Kincaid Fire has scorched about 42,000 acres and destroyed at least 96 structures, including 40 homes. Thousands of firefighters are battling the Kincaid Fire, which is only 5% contained, and one was seriously injured overnight and received medical treatment. More than 200,000 people have been forced to evacuate. The Getty Fire broke out early Monday morning near Getty Center, and at least 8 homes have burned down. Thousands of people are under mandatory evacuation, and Getty Center staffers say the museum's art is safe. But on Sunday, Governor Gavin Newsom, the Democrat, declared a state of emergency. Well, somebody should declare a state of emergency about him.
Yeah, well, This Getty fire is scary because it's now heading towards Brentwood. In fact, areas of Brentwood that are on fire. And if it gets into the city, it'll be worse than the LA riots everywhere. Yeah, it's not a joke. I mean, these winds are bad, Tom.
Well, yeah, they've got 80-mile-an-hour winds blowing this thing all over the place, and the heat certainly helps activate that wind too. So the hot air meeting the cold air and everything, but the situation in California, I mean, they're so ignorant of their, with this overkill on the environment.
Mm-hmm.
We got to save this sagebrush. We've got to save this fallen tree, or whatever it is. You can't go in there and cut firewood, for heaven forbid. We can't allow fireplaces. We've got to have solar panels on every house, and it's no wonder the place burns to the ground every summer.
Well, yeah, it's an annual event.
Well, it is, yeah. We hear about it every year. This year, we were very fortunate here in Montana. We had virtually no fires, or very small ones anyway. And, we got a lot of rain during the summer, which we normally don't get, and a lot of snow early. So,
yeah,
it was pretty good for us. But
yeah, here too. We talked about it in the summertime, how amazing it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I don't know, all of their, you've got PG&E shutting off power
2 million.
Yeah, to all these people since when? Friday?
Yeah.
Last Friday or so? Something like that, Thursday or Friday of last week. They got to go to some town nearby to charge their phones and get food and non-perishables, because their freezers aren't working, obviously, or
That's
refrigerators
right.
aren't
Not
working.
good.
So you're living on bread and water, I guess. I don't know. Spam will keep.
Yeah.
There you are. Let's see, from our text line. Let's hope and pray Lieutenant Colonel Alexander Vindman stay safe overnight. He's the first currently employed White House official to defy orders to appear. He is sharing firsthand knowledge of meetings and phone calls. California wouldn't have these fires if they would rake their forests. Well, I don't know if anybody's going to go out and rake the forest, but they certainly should allow cleanup of the fallen trees and things like that. Would certainly be helpful. And
but all that all that dead underbush garbage we were talking, it burned off years ago. This is the grass that grows every year across that area of California, and it's an annual thing that occurs. It's so
yeah.
It's just one of the things. That's why when the gentleman called yesterday, and when I commented about do something about the grass in August or September before these fires and the Santa Ana winds come, and he was saying, well, how do you clean up 21 million acres of forest? Well, these areas that burn every year, that's all burnt out. There's no dead trees or anything that are left. They were gone 20 years ago when it started.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to do anything, plant trees there maybe, or something, to hold it down. But with their arid climate, fires are inevitable. I'm not sure that California can do anything about them. As the caller said, clearing 20 million acres of sagebrush or dry grass, it ain't gonna work.
It ain't gonna work, no.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Yeah, from our text line, let them eat Spam. Yeah, there you are. I agree. Let them have Spam.
Tom's favorite canned food.
That's right. Well, our last item in the 5 things you need to know, of course, Boris Johnson loses bid for early parliamentary election, and he, after begrudgingly accepting the Brexit extension until January 31st of next year, he's hoping to regain a parliamentary majority through an early election so he can push through his Brexit legislation. He lost the vote 299 to 70, with the Labor Party abstaining, as it maintained it won't back an election until the possibility of a no-deal Brexit is off the table.
Mm-hmm.
So there we are with Brexit. Wow.
Still.
Yes. I don't know if January is going to make a difference or not, Shane. I don't have a clue.
No, they're not going to be able to do anything about it until they have an election, and they don't want the Labor Party doesn't want to have an election because they know they'll lose, and they don't want to give him a full majority to do this. So
that's true.
It's one of those things like us. Our prime minister still hasn't formed a government in Canada after the election. It'll have to be with the NDP. But if it does, it'll only last for a year, maybe a year and a half, and then another election. So
all right. Yeah. All right. Jeff Krauss is going to join us at the top of the hour. Want to remind you of our football tickets. We're going to be giving those away Thursday morning. I got 4 tickets to give away. Ag Appreciation Day at the Southern Utah Bobcat game coming up on Saturday the 2nd. And we'll give these away on Thursday morning, 2 by phone and 2 with our KMMS app. So you need to app chat the keyword football to us by Thursday at 9 a.m. That's when we'll stop the inquiries and declare a winner. So by all means, if you haven't got the AM 1450 KMMS app, get that and click on the app chat button and text football to us, and we will get you those tickets. So you'll be in the drawing to win. So 2 ways to win. So hey, we'll do that Thursday morning. Jeff Krauss is in the house, so we're going to be talking to him. We got some. We want to talk a little bit about Winco Foods and also the Costco. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back, everyone. 6 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. Shaman Taubman, half man, half amazing, is on the line. Tommy Galoff, your morning mayor, is in the house, and the real 3-time mayor of Bozeman and current city commissioner is Jeff Krauss, and he is in the house.
I'm here.
You're
Good
here.
morning.
Yeah, you're here. Jeff, is the city going to force donut holes to annex? That's the question.
Donut holes. And so we had a huge meeting last night, and the answer is forcible annexation, involuntary annexation. Call it what you want. Yes, there was. We had a long meeting about it last night, and there was a 3-1 vote. Mayor Cindy Andrus wasn't there. To continue on to forcing people in, we had the county health department guy there, and he talked about how the woeful state of all of the statistics on the Western Drive and 25th well and septic. They're all old. They start to fail. They've had applications for new ones, and they said, I think I added up about 80% or, in that range. So they're already gathering statistics about why you should get annexed, right? If you live on Western Drive or 25th. So you can tell who is on the dragon's eyeball there. It's interesting, sort of the whole thing. Well, don't use forcible annexation, right? Don't use that. We're not forcing them. Well, so they call it city initiated. Oh. And I felt like I was sitting at the Reichstag, in 1936 or whatever, discussing the German-initiated annexation of Czechoslovakia, right? The Japanese-initiated annexation of Manchuria, right? Don't call it a forcible. Yeah. Look, the other thing is this idea about paying your fair share. If you're listening and you live on Western Drive, you live in one of these holes, you pay your fair share, okay? Yeah. You pay county taxes, you pay county road taxes that city residents don't pay. I drive on county roads every day, so I drive on the county roads every day. You drive on the city streets every day, or maybe you don't, you're retired, whatever. You pay your fair share. You pay a library tax, right? That is not levied on the city residents. Those are property taxes. You might pay a county RID for the pavement and care of your road. The idea that you don't pay your fair share is one of these things that is easy for people who don't represent you to say.
Right.
But what it sounds like is, well, there's gold in those hills, and those darned Indians won't let us get them.
Yep.
So we're going to, it's unfair to Americans, right? We don't have access to those resources. Where have I heard this whole thing before? You know?
We want a tax base. We want to increase our tax base with no work on our own.
But doesn't everybody say growth doesn't pay for itself? So why are we forcibly annexing people if it doesn't pay for itself?
Yeah.
And the answer is, of course, you're going to pay for it. There's this bald statement in there, frank statement. I couldn't get him to take it out that said, we're not going to spend any money to extend services. No current taxpayer money to extend services. It's going to be up to the private.
It's going to be on the homeowners themselves.
Yeah.
Put in the sewer, put in the water, put in the street lights, put in sidewalks if there aren't any.
Now, they did say that they could find, the commission could find that it's okay to continue on with your well and septic, although you had the county sanitarian or whatever stand up and go, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Right. The city could find that the infrastructure is adequate for the time being.
If you have a well or something on your property.
Right. They could say, or that, like we do in the tree streets when the staff wanted to force tree streets into putting in sidewalks, the commission, I think on essentially 5-0 vote, but it was really 3-2 back when I first got on, said, no, they've had mature landscaping. They got, hills. Some of the people physically couldn't do it. We're not going to force sidewalks on the tree streets. But, the power, and sort of the resentment of these little spots was there. As much as you want to say, we're going to take a middle of the road approach, which what's the one side? So the one side's not doing it unless they annex in. What would be the non-middle of the road approach? The more extreme one, would it be to send the police in, or I'm just not sure what they kept saying, well, this is the middle of the road approach, which is forcible annexation. So that went on last night. That's a huge question. And you have really nowhere to turn, right? I haven't heard the county speak up about it other than the county health officer saying that you're in, you're well and septic. And I think one of the commissioners said, well, they can't even prove that they have a septic. Well, I'm sorry, go flush the toilet.
Yeah, go somewhere.
No, I mean, how do you prove that you have a septic system?
Yeah, I was going to say,
run the water, flush the toilet.
It's got to go somewhere.
So this, you can't prove it. What, have we lost our common sense?
Or here's my septic removal bill for you.
Yeah. So anyway, this, you can't even prove it. That one was one of them that had me rolling my eyes. I put a couple of, I tried to point out that if you live along Babcock or you live along Durston and you've got, and you're in one of those SIDs, but you're in one of these county in holdings, you're subject to this immediately. Upon annexation, you've got a big debt, right?
Yeah. I was going to say, are they sending out notices for this right away, or how?
Well, they don't have they're playing now. They're not going to do it until 2020. But this was the first stab at the policies.
Okay.
And, in 2020, they won't have me there.
So is there
talking about it?
Well, yeah, I was going to say you're going to be gone. So unfortunately that, because somebody just sent in on the text line, I can tell who the one vote against was.
Yeah. Well, I've been against it from the beginning. And not only that, but decades of city policy has been against it. Decades. Republicans, Democrats, even though we're all nonpartisan, liberals, conservatives, no one over the years has wanted to forcibly annex Czechoslovakia.
Yeah, that's for sure. Let's take a quick phone call here. Jeff Krauss is on the line with us, or in the studio with us, I should say. Caller, you're on the air with Jeff. What's up?
Morning, gentlemen. This is Kyle.
Hey.
Hi, Kyle.
Hey, I got a question for Jeff concerning construction around the valley. So as a worker for a company who does a lot of driving around town, I've been finding myself often stymied by construction at both Thurston and Cottonwood and occasionally Huff Fine, and then Baxter and Love, and all these various places. So I was curious, who controls that kind of stuff, and do they take into account the impact on travel across the valley when they make these plans?
So it depends on where you're talking about. Roads can be, and road work can be Montana Department of Transportation road work. It can be Gallatin County road work, and it can be City of Bozeman road work. So all of those entities work on the roads in the summer. I believe there was a time when I couldn't find a way to get to the hospital. So I don't think it's always particularly well coordinated between the entities. Also, the contractors present when they bid, they have to have when they get the bid, they have to have a traffic control plan. And then I think it's improbable that they don't always follow that plan.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, the one that always got me was the one when they closed off Thurston and Ferguson, because literally either you're trying to find a way through residential neighborhoods or you're having to go almost all the way out of 19th to get around, it seems. Because there's no way to get to Huff Fine from Valley Center from any direction, really, it seems. So a lot of the summer construction seemed poorly planned, because it also made it hard to route my other employees effectively. So it was just costing time and money. So
on that side of town, boy, particularly down Oak or Durston or any of those, Cottonwood, we're all messed up. And, it seemed like every time you start going somewhere, you hit a detour or you're going the opposite direction you want to go.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a truck, if you're routing trucks, you need to stay on the main roads.
Yeah.
And I think that another thing, where the school district is building a giant high school, and the people of the city of Bozeman are subsidizing the high school district to the tune of about $10 million, putting in infrastructure, and that includes those roads, Cottonwood and Ferguson and Durston and Oak and Flanders Mill, and that opens next year. So if you want to know why, and it's not a blame thing, right? They're building a new high school, which we needed, so we have to be ready for the new high school.
All the stuff goes with it,
right? And anybody that drove Durston knew from Fowler to past Ferguson was still the county road from way back when. So the Ferguson or the Durston through the Ferguson interchange has been 3 or 4 years in coming. It's a 2-year project, and it was going to be shut down completely for a very long time.
Yeah. So
it just was. I think going to the airport was problematic for me for a while because the Love Lane and Baxter, but that's just about finished. Doing a bunch of roads on the west side at once. Yeah. People say, why did you do that? And the answer is because next year there's going to be 1,500 kids going to school there.
Yeah, that's the issue.
I think the coordination, like up on Durston, Keggy, when they closed Keggy, that was the state closed Keggy, and the state had closed the other end down there, Highland and Maine, and you couldn't, you waited an hour. Sick people were waiting a long time to get to the hospital or couldn't figure a way to get to the hospital, going to the pain clinic, those kinds of things. That was a failure, right? And I believe that was not following the plan that had been proposed. So, it is a fact of life, construction season, and no, it isn't always coordinated very well.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a quick break. Hey, thanks for the call. Shane, we got a caller on line 2. If you could chat with them for a moment. We're only going to be out for 1 minute, so Jeff and I will be right back right after this. 20 minutes after the hour of 8 a.m., we got a caller patiently waiting on the line. Caller, you're on with Jeff Krauss. What's going on?
I'm very patiently waiting for the rest of my life to talk to
Jeff.
Well, there you are. Now's your chance. You got about 10 minutes to do it.
Jeff, this Colonel Clink.
Very interesting.
Yeah, you know who Colonel Clink was, don't you?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, he was the dumb one on Hogan's Heroes, and I'm the dumb one. Is it Western Drive and is the covered wagon and Esther Nelson's in this mess?
Well, it's out yes.
All three of them?
Yeah.
Well, I got a suggestion.
Affordable housing going away.
Yeah, that's right, and there's no place for them to go, so I think there's probably 2 or 3 big wells there on the covered wagon.
I think that they're not used anymore because of the buttery, that...
I remember that.
And I think they all got...
That was Esther's.
Esther's got on... so they're on city water now because of that.
It's a covered wagon also?
I don't know if they're in the plume or not. I can't tell you. But the Esther's is, yeah.
They should have a pretty good-sized water right out of the ground there, that covered wagon.
When you annex in, you have to give up your water rights. That's for sure. That's part of the annexation.
Well, I was going to say that that water right's worth some money.
Yeah, well, so we had a text on the way while we were waiting that said, keep voting Democrat and you'll get what you get, right? Here's my answer to that, okay? Yes, people in the city voted Democrat, but the people in these county areas, they didn't get to vote for any city commissioners that are doing this to them.
Yeah.
That's, and their answer is, well, now you'll get to. Well, maybe that's not something they want to do, right? I mean, that is why I say it's like sitting around in Germany in 1936 discussing the German-initiated annexation of Czechoslovakia.
That's right. They just took it by force. But anyway, if you displace those people like they did down there on Rouse, those folks there was in that trailer park, and guess what? It was the guy up at Big Sky, Blixus, his wife's son, that did all this, and the city fell for it. And guess what happened? Yeah, them people had to move, and they had to move their trailer. They gave them a little pittance for moving. And they had no place to go. And a lot of them trailers went to North Dakota, and I know the guy that took them there. But the people had no place to go. Now, if you do this I hope the city commissioners are listening to me, are they going to charge an impact fee to those folks that's in them trailers?
So the current plan suggests that impact fees will be due.
Jesus.
When you hook up,
Yep.
Well, that's terrible, Jeff. You know it, and I know it.
Well, I've been talking about it for a while now. They have all kinds of words in there, like may. There must be, Mary Palfy got up and said, you got a lot of mays and maybes in there. But so how can we have any predictability about what's going to happen?
Well, I would suggest that the people that's in the park should be grandfathered to start with. They were there first. And I don't think the city could actually force them. I think there could be a lawsuit brought to bear there, and I don't think that those people that's in that park would really have to, or on Western Drive.
Well, I will tell you that there's a couple of very strong legal precedents for this forcible annexation. It's permitted.
There is, huh?
Yes, it's permitted under Chapter 47 of something. Might be 747 or whatever the local government is, I'm guessing. So it's,
is that in the city charter? Is that part of the charter?
No, that's Montana Code annotated.
Oh, okay.
And it's in Montana Code annotated, and it's in common law. There are several fairly strong court cases about it as well.
Well, then that gives it precedence, but the thing is, it seems to me like that the legislators of the various different districts are not looking out for their people like they should, because those people have been there for years and years. They've made nice homes in there, especially in Covered Wagon and out on Western Drive. There's some homes out there, they're stick-built homes, And my old partner...
I think almost all of Western Drive is stick-built.
That's right, they are. And anyway, a friend of mine, Harold Brown, out there was part of the guys that started that out in Western Drive. But I think that the Shockeys started the Covered Wagon, I believe, and Esther Nelson, I know her, and her son Dan. But the thing is, why would the city even think of annexing them and trying to displace that many people? Because 90% of those people don't have the money to pay the impact fees and everything else, and they're going to tear up their streets. They're going to tear up everything to hook everything up to the city.
Well, and this idea that that we may find a way to help them with their impact fees.
Don't charge them.
Well, we have to. They're a fee. Everybody's got to pay that, else they get tossed out. You have to pay them or else.
Yeah. Jeff, they pay an impact fee every month when they pay their water bill and their sewer bill. Well, that impact fee was for the city, actually for the city to build new sewer plants and things like this is what it was. I guess it's designated for. Yeah. But the thing is, they got to start thinking about people and quit thinking about money.
Well, it's all about resources. They talk about how unfair it is and fair share, and it permeates this discussion about how unfair it is, and it's not unfair. They do pay their fair share, and it's actually, I think, to tell people that they're not paying their fair share is to vilify people, vilify those people on the other side. Yeah. Don't pay their fair share, and then they want to be their friend. You can trust us, but you haven't been paying your fair share.
Okay, let's
real quick. I got to go. I got another caller waiting.
Okay,
real quick.
Well, the thing I'm thinking about is where are those people going to go that can't afford all these impact fees and these various things? Where are they going to put their houses and stuff? Well, these are the people that service the richer people in Bozeman.
Hey.
And I'm really damn sick of the city and the county both running over the people. That's all I got to say.
All right. Thanks, man. Let's take another call. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, you on the air with Jeff Krauss. What's up?
This would be a good time to expand on your distaste for the forced annexation and your philosophy that the elite government bodies should make decisions for the people. If the people would be able to decide, they could decide whether they wanted to want to annex or not. The bottom line there is our results couldn't be much worse if you allow the people to make these decisions than we've seen in history. There's been major wars. There's been a depression and a not so hot recession. There's been Mao killing tens of millions, Stalin killing tens of millions.
Well, I don't think we're doing that in Bozeman. Let's keep it. Let's keep it local.
I guess I do understand what you're saying. I know what he's saying because he thinks we ought to go to a town hall form of government where we vote on everything, right? Yeah. Well, the problem is, that we're going to vote on the. We're going to vote on, I think most people in town would say, let's go get those people. They haven't been paying their fair share. And history would probably bear me out on that.
All right. Got to go, Daniel. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Let's go get that gold in them there hills, right?
Yeah. Yeah, from our text line, coerced compliance and forced annexation has become the middle-of-the-road approach. What are they, a bunch of Democrats? Oh, yeah, I forget they are. If you keep voting Democrat, Bozeman, stop complaining. All right, we'll be back with Jeff right after this, and Shane, and Tom. All of us will be here. Trust me. All right, welcome back, everyone. 25 minutes for the top of the hour. Jeff Krauss, three-time mayor of Bozeman, is in the house. Shane Tobin, half man, half amazing, is on the line in Vancouver, British Columbia. He's a fly on the wall, aren't you, man? He got nothing to say over there about annexation. Any annexation going on in Vancouver, Shane?
Well, eminent domain, for highways and stuff that everyone's always done, but nothing like this.
Yeah. From our text line, ask Jeff what's going on with the Rib and Chop House. Do you have anything to do with that?
No,
I was gonna say they don't come to you, do they?
Well, it just depends if they're asking for something. But in general, things like Winco or the Rib and Chop House or B-Dubs, Buffalo Wild Wings, those usually don't get to us. They get to they get approved administratively.
Yeah.
We could talk about Winco for a second, which we should be hearing some good news about Winco.
I was going to say, we announced yesterday that we have it on pretty good authority that a settlement was reached from my sources. Anyway, have you heard anything differently on that, or?
Well, I'd be reluctant to say one way or the other.
Yeah, I know you're being with the city. You're kind of locked into. You can't really comment. But
so I think I said just a minute ago that we should be hearing some good news soon.
Right. So we'll see.
You mean you're not a whistleblower?
The other one that I think is really interesting, the one that's really interesting is Costco.
Costco.
Right?
What's going on with Costco?
A year ago at this time, remember they put up the temporary lights at the intersection? That was required by the city as part of their expansion, right? The city approved an expansion, but it was incredibly onerous, the conditions of expansion. And I got on here after that and said, Costco's got options.
I thought they put the lights up because it was a Christmas season and the traffic was
that's
kind
why.
of a mess.
Right,
but they didn't expand, did they?
They haven't even started the expansion.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Imagine if you were Costco and a year ago, this time you got approval.
Yeah.
And you still haven't been able to expand.
Yeah. Why not?
First of all,
that's the question. Why not?
Because the city has held them up. I'll just say it. And first thing is, when would you have wanted to have your expansion finished by? Say, in time for the Christmas season?
I
and
think
here
so,
you are, you're unable to do that. And you spent a lot of money, a whole lot of money, working on this expansion. You've been held up another year, and you have options. If you were, let's say, developing another large interchange off the interstate, and where would one of those be?
Near the airport, of course.
And you wanted the number one anchor in the country, what would you give? Would you build the suit?
Yeah.
Would you give incredibly reasonable terms? To me, Costco has options. And everybody says, well, they're already there. They couldn't possibly leave. Look, those are called sunk costs. I'm an accountant. I can tell you what matters is what's happening going forward.
Yeah.
And if you can make it pencil out better to move from one place to the other, you don't care what you spent last time. Right?
Well, and think about it, too. They could move to Livingston, and people would drive to Livingston to do their shopping.
They're not going to move to Livingston.
No.
No, I'm just saying they have those kind of options. That's all I'm saying.
No, they'd move to Belgrade. They'd have I-90 visibility there.
Yes.
Plus, they'd have the airport there. There's a bunch of hotels going to go in there,
and a government that would want them.
Yeah, that would be the other thing. Now, the intersection we're talking about, where they have the lights, is where you go into Costco, not out on the Valley Center.
Well,
now, were they expected to improve that intersection where you enter Costco?
100%. They had to build that to city standards. So that was $1 million intersection.
Okay, so they'd have traffic lights there. They'd have curbs, gutters, sidewalks. The whole 9 yards would be there, or a roundabout or something.
Right. Yeah. I think there's a light there, and there's a roundabout down at the Winco Food. The Winco has to put one in too down at the other end of that same road.
Yeah.
So imagine. And then not even being able to do that, and in a year not making any progress. The frustration, how they must feel like we're hostile to them or something.
Could be, yeah.
And I think they're a big company, and they got sharp accountants.
Yeah.
Right. And they have options.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And there is a brand new the hotels are not going to drive it, right? I don't think. No. you want hotels next, and there'll be some restaurants with come that like that, but that would be more of a subdivision like you see way out there in the plains by the airport in Denver, where you go stay there, and all there is hotels and a couple of regular Generica restaurants, and that's it, and you're trapped out there, and there's nowhere to go anywhere. They could build that kind of thing, or they could start getting some retail in there. And setting it up for an all day long, every day, locals go there kind of development. I believe they make a lot more money that way. So, the people that have that development, have a powerful incentive. We've given Costco powerful disincentives. I just think, this, there's a message out there. Right now, I believe the city is, I know the city is dragging its feet on applications. Yeah. Because they get so much grief for growth.
I was going to say, they've always been kind of anti-business since Kirchhoff days.
Yeah, even
before that, and that's where the impact fees and everything came from, or a lot of it was to stop growth coming here, and it just hasn't. The ugly stepchild, Belgrade, will take Costco with open arms, according to our chat line, 478-8298.
I tried not to be specific. There's a brand new, commercial subdivision. There's a brand new interstate interchange capturing everyone that drives from the out of the airport and to where? Butte? Yep, to Butte, to points west, points south, points east. And I don't believe anybody from Bozeman would say, that's too far. I mean,
we used to drive to Billings to go to Costco.
Right, exactly. And I think I live closer to the airport than I live to here. Right. So, it wouldn't be a problem for me.
All right. We got to take a quick break. We'll be back in exactly 1 minute. Stay tuned. 16 minutes for the top of the hour. Jeff Krauss is in the house. We've got callers calling in. Let's take some calls. 522-TALK is the number. Caller, thanks for waiting. You're on the air. What's going on?
Good morning.
Hey. Polish Jeff? Princess is in the house.
Jeff, what's holding up Hobby Lobby?
I have no idea. I think your guess is as good as mine.
Is that so?
Well, a couple rumors, I guess, that have been happening is that one, they ran into more problems with that building than they thought they were going to, since it had the cleanup and all of that. That's one story that has taken them longer to do whatever the state requires to make that building safe, I guess, or whatever. And the other one is that they have a hard time hiring people because of the stigma of Hobby Lobby and their religious beliefs and whatever. So that's another one. Yeah. So.
And it sounded like it was permitted to come in, knowing the religious.
Well, a lot of the people that are going to work there will probably be college students, and they're going to get a lot of grief at the university if their peers find out they're working at Hobby Lobby. That would be like working at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, if I could pick my breakfast today, I would have a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit right now. And that's not a political statement, right? That is chicken biscuit forever, man.
That's just that's good eating.
That's good eating. I don't know what's happening with Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, we don't either. It's, as I say, there's a lot of stories flying around, and those were two that I've heard, so.
A lot of this is a lot of it is up to the people that come in. It's like the question about the rib and chop house. I think a rib and chop house. My understanding is they have made an application. It's down there, but isn't it down there by Costco?
I think so. I think they're going in somewhere near the Outback. Going to compete with.
Oh, is that where they are, near the Outback? I thought they might have been near the Taco John's. That new Taco John, isn't it a Taco Bell that's over there?
Yeah, Taco Bell.
Taco something is
I
over
think
there.
they were going to be somewhere near the. don't hold me to that, but I thought they were going to be out there by Outback, somewhere near there, with the hotels and everything that are going in there. They thought that would be a
well. If you're thinking about locating there, and part of your decision making is we want to be near Costco, and you suddenly hear that Costco might not be there, you might be rethinking your decision making.
Yeah, that may be true. Yeah. So that
Terry.
Yeah.
As far as low-income housing,
yeah,
you don't think about it till it hits you at home. I had the cancellation for a Dish network because they don't have anyone in the district, and the next appointment was the end of December.
Wow.
So figure that out.
Okay.
Well, I think that has a lot to do with how hard it is to get employees, or they're contractors, I believe. But
yeah,
but they have to live somewhere.
How hard it is to get people. And, I talked to someone who was needed to see an insurance adjuster. They were driving from Billings.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I mean,
and
I
we're
think
putting them up in hotels.
Yeah, and I think some of that is going on even with local retail outlets where they're bringing people in to stock at night, and at least I've heard those rumors, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have too. The work, it's interesting getting employees around Bozeman now, and you're seeing that effect on businesses and business hours and.
Yeah, I think we have less than 3% unemployment in Bozeman itself. So
yeah,
I don't know.
In the summer it's usually less than 2 right now. Over the last couple of years. So, we're in an inflationary spiral when it comes to housing.
Hey,
and
Jeff, I'll get off the line. Someone else can get in.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for the call.
Both housing and bye. And wages, because there's 0 vacancies and there are tons of vacancies, right? But no vacancies in housing and lots of vacancies. Now, the housing market may be cooling off. I think nationally it's cooling off. Whether that means it's cooling off here or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's something that. Boy, housing here is up and down and up and down and up and down.
Always over the years.
It has been, yeah. All right, we got to take another break. Rush Update is here, and we'll be right back following that. Here's Rush. All right, 7 minutes for the top of the hour. Jeff Krauss, 3-time Mayor of Bozeman, current city commissioner, joins us. Shane Taubman, half man, half amazing, is on the line with us, just relaxing. He's kicked back there, just kind of listening to what we're talking about here. And from our text line, Hobby Lobby delay has more to do with it being a Superfund site and the concrete and removal mitigation they want to take place, not as much about hiring issues, although I do not debate that may be an issue given our social climate currently. Belgrade will take Hobby Lobby, Chick-fil-A, Winco, Costco, and even Walmart, no problem. There's tens of thousands in the valley and growing who would love not having to drive to Bozeman. Well, that's probably right. I don't like to drive to Bozeman either.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's accurate. The new, where that airport interchange is a very strategic location. Remember, the new high school is out on the far northwest side of town. There are already about 1,000. I don't know. There's about 500 units in the county going to come in out there along Baxter near the. And it's the number of people that use Baxter and Love and Valley Center and Alaska is going up and up and up. That's where it's at right now. With that new high school going out there, that's like putting up a huge banner that said, "We are growing here." And that will attract investors from all over to put up people that are going to work at the high school, put up housing for people that are going to work, or people that move here. People move here that are their kids are usually in middle school or high school. There's a lot of that, right? People who come here. The kindergartens, the first grade, the elementary schools, we need another one. That's happening fairly organically, but at a steady pace. The middle school and the high schools, they're booming because of who moves back.
Well, you're looking at a 305 unit, 12-acre development on 19th too. The city commission is looking at that.
No, I think that's been submitted to the city. I don't know whether we'll see it or not.
Yeah, the city of Bozeman is reviewing a proposal on it. So whether or not it ends up before you guys or not.
Most things don't end up in front of us that are just a site plan.
What's the difference between this and Black Olive?
The Black Olive, the people around Black Olive ask us to take that approval over or disapprove, the review of that.
Okay.
And the commission agreed to do it. But I see a couple of more cranes up and skyscrapers going up, if you will, mid-rises, that we didn't ever see.
Yeah.
Right? The one right on the end, is it on South Wallace there?
Yeah.
I never saw anything about that.
You got some big buildings going in on 7th that are around the hotel there, or the RSVP place.
Well, that's the new music venue.
Yeah.
That's hopefully that and the one at the old Sinclair station, kitty cornered. Hopefully those are game changers, and they start convincing people to scrape some of that stuff and put up new stuff along.
I thought the venue was going where the Sinclair station was.
No, that's another building.
Oh, okay.
Really nice looking one too.
Oh, okay. All right. So.
Yeah, the music venue is going right there where Tom's Flooring was.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Right by the new Farmer's Daughter restaurant.
And also, it looks like HRDC doesn't have any land for their tiny homes.
Well,
they're going to lose their $500,000 if they can't find some place to put it. They were going to do it on Griffin, but they don't have any city water, sewer, or whatever there, I guess, or wherever they wanted to go. Because they need 12 acres, I think, or something like that.
12 acres is you're not going to put that in the city. 12 acres not going in the city. I don't think.
Yeah, that's why I say I'm not sure where you're gonna put it.
Well, it sounds like
it's 12 homes, so I don't know. Well, they probably don't need 12 acres.
They probably need if they're tiny enough. That's only 1 acre, right?
Yeah, I'm getting that confused with the 2 acres of or the 19th thing that's 18,000 square feet and 12 acres. Yeah, is behind Bridger Peaks.
Now that's so there's a couple interesting ones. So one of the things that happened, we got awarded, I think it's 40 money, and I think it's HRDC but it might be somebody else to do 40 affordable senior living, so low income senior living will get built.
Apartments.
40 of them, and it's coming from the Montana Board of Housing.
Is it apartments or like condos?
Apartments.
Okay.
Remember, affordable living really is apartments.
Yeah,
it's not. It's or condos. The city commission, when you read the affordable housing thing. By the way, the new affordable housing thing, I've read it. I hope you like paying taxes to subsidize people making $104,000 building $400,000 homes.
Yeah,
they call that the missing middle. Okay.
Yeah, 8
times more than I'm making, or 9.
Yeah,
and
I know Shane wouldn't live there. No.
Right. On a 400,000 is beneath him.
Right. All right, we're just about out of time, Jeff. Any parting thoughts we need to talk about here? We're waiting for good news from Winco.
Let's wait.
My
for good
sources
news from
say
Winco.
it's happening, so. Let's hope that'll come to fruition.
Just that you can only be anti-business for so long before they believe you.
Before they come and get you. Well, we wish the people on what drive?
Western
Drive our best. Because the city's coming for you. Say goodbye, Shane.
Bye, Mayor. Thanks for coming, Jeff. It's great having you in the house. Everyone be happy, be safe, drive careful, and God bless to all.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Jeff. Thank God Tuesday's over. My least favorite day of the week, but only because you're here makes it good, Jeff.
I was going to start taking that personally.
All right.
Tom.
Don't you do it. All right. We'll see everybody bright and early tomorrow morning, 6 a.m.